Hello everyone, and welcome to my walkthrough of part 2 of Board of the Rings by Delta Force Software. This is a follow-up to my walkthrough of part 1, so I include a link to that in the description below. And as with the first part, I'll be reading out all of the descriptions and messages in the games, but if there's those of you out there that prefer a silent walkthrough, I'll include a link to the video from the RZX archive channel as well, if that's your preference. Anyway, let's begin. Board of the Rings, designed by Fergus McNeil, copyright 1985, Delta Force Software, dedicated to you-know-who. This is part 2. Right, what I will do at this point is I'm going to set the emulation to 4 times the normal speed. That should hopefully make the pictures draw a bit more quickly than they would usually. Fordo stood in the gloom of the Morona Cave complex. The huge western gates were jammed shut, so the only ways on seemed to be along a passage leading east, or up a set of worn steps which spiraled away into the darkness above. The company appeared. Okay, let's go and see what's up those steps. Fordo stood in a small dome-shaped cave. On the wall, in ASCII runes, was a message. A spiral staircase led down through a hole in the floor. Well, let's take a look at that message then. If we read the message. The message read, "Why are you here? You should have gone east from the first location." Okay, we can take the hint. Let's go back down to where we started and let's head east. Fordo found himself in a large cavern. Passages led south and west, but to the east was a very impressive doorway. A vending machine was positioned against the northern wall. Alright, let's go east again. Fordo looked around. He was in the plush offices of the Morona Cave Complex Tourist Information Centre. The room was obviously neglected, though, as all the nice little pamphlets on Morona had been removed, and the walls were bare of publicity posters. There was a desk. At this point, Fordo noticed a battery. Okay, let's get the battery. That'll make him useful. This was done. Right, let's go west. We see the vending machine here. Let's try inserting the battery. Fordo inserted the battery. With a loud clunk, a coin fell out. NB Troll Design, see Appendix 87. I think the idea here is this is inverting the usually expected trope of an adventure vending machine inserting a coin to get a battery. Yep, this time you insert the battery to get the coin. But let's pick the coin up. We may need that soon. And go south. Fordo looked around. He was in a dark cave. A neon sign above the large archway in the east wall flashed on and off. A heavy door was set in the western side of the cave, and a passage led away to the north. At this point, Fordo noticed the disreputable pixie and a small doormat. "Get your original maps of the maze here," proclaimed the disreputable pixie. Okay, I think that indicates we may be somewhere near a maze, and we need a map. Let's see if we can buy a map from the pixie. "A coin, good sir," requested the disreputable pixie. Well, luckily we had a coin from earlier, so let's give the coin to the pixie. "Thank you gratuitously," said the disreputable pixie, taking the coin and pushing a badly photocopied map towards you. Well, looks like it could be handy. Let's get the map and read the map. The official map. Copyright 1985, Barbican Design Team, patent pending. And there's some graphics that indicate it seems to be a path through the maze, which we haven't found yet, but I'm sure we'll come across that in a minute. But in the meantime, let's take a look at this that doormat in the location. So let's lift the mat. Fordo lifted the mat and found a key hidden underneath. Let's get the key. It should be useful. And if we have a look around in the location, so aside from the pixie and our company, we see a heavy door to the west. If we try to go west, Fordo couldn't go in that direction. I think we need to unlock that door. So let's try opening the door. Fordo unlocked and opened the door with the key. Right, let's now go in. Fordo was in the secret room. A large rug lay across the floor, and a heavy door was set into the eastern wall. At this point, Fordo noticed a disintegrator rifle. Well, that may come in useful later, so let's get the rifle. And let's see what's down below that rug. So Fordo was in a secret chamber under the rug in the secret room above. The chamber was small, dark, and smelled of new carpet. A hole in the ceiling was the only exit. At this point, Fordo noticed amazingly valuable treasure. Well, let's get the treasure. This was done. Sure, it's always good to find some secret treasure. Let's head back up. And then back out to the room with the pixie. And now I know from here we've got to enter the maze. So let's go east. Into the maze. Fordo was lost in the maze of Morona. Well, it's a good job we've got a map. So from here let's go east again. As you might see, all these locations pretty much look the same. We can tell when a new location every time because it redraws the picture. But let's follow the maze as it showed us on the map. We'll go east, and we'll go east. Then let's take a south, a west, another south, and then an east. So now we've reached a new location. Fordo was in a small alcove somewhere in the maze, which, in case you really wanted to know, was situated to the west. So we might have guessed, well, having gone east at the last move. At this point, Fordo noticed a poster. Well, let's get that poster. And go west, back into the maze. West again. That's a new location. And if we read the map again, I'm sure we can see we've now reached the end of the maze. We've followed that trail around there. So let's go south. And that's let's exit the maze. And yeah, I guess for those of you that played the game originally, you may recall if you don't have the map, then even if you did follow that trail around, you'd find yourself back at the start of the maze again. So we need to have the map in order to escape the maze. Okay, we're out of the maze. So Fordo was travelling through the dark halls of Morona. Passages led north, east, and west. Well, I happen to know that to the east it's almost certain death. So let's head west at this point. Fordo was now in a huge, low-ceilinged chamber stretching out north for a good way. To the west, smoke billowed from a great fissure in the stone floor. A passage led east. Suddenly, a horde of fiendish monsters stepped from behind a convenient rock. Fordo gulped in horror as he recognised Ponce and the Revolution, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and Vulture Club, all well-known G*Y groups. "Hello, sailors," said Legoland, sauntering in. The company appeared. So, yes, this is very much a kind of spoof of some of the bands that were around at the time the game was written, the mid-1980s. So, Ponce and the Revolution, a kind of spoof name of Prince and the Revolution. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, based on Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and Vulture Club, of course, Culture Club. But anyway, I think if we try and go north, the monsters, as it were, blocking away. But let's drop the poster. Fordo dropped the rocky poster. Ponce grabbed it and ran off, hotly pursued by the others. So that now lets us pass this location. Let's go north. Fordo stood at the bridge of Cardinal Hume. So, for those of you that have read The Lord of the Rings, you may remember that's, I think, Khazad-dûm in the original book. Cardinal Hume, based on the Catholic cardinal of the same name. So, Cardinal Hume, an ancient computer-controlled lift bridge spanning the vast chasm from which erupted great pillars of smoke, flames, and toxic waste. The control unit was on the west side of the bridge, across the great fissure. Okay, let's try crossing the bridge. West. Fordo was on the western end of the lift bridge. A desk with a small control panel sat on the edge of the gaping chasm. The exit was to the south. Okay, it's now waiting for us to press a key. And, oh dear, quite a fierce looking monster there with an IBM t-shirt on. Caption. Slowly through the gloom, a great shadowy figure came striding onto the bridge. Grandalf advanced to meet it. Suddenly, a hair-perming shriek halted our beloved in his very tracks. Out of the gloom, the epitome of evil came. A giant shadow, the Bullhog, stepped onto the bridge. "Shoo! Get away!" cried Grandalf as he ran to see it off. "Press the green button!" cried Giblet, breaking wind in his terror. "There isn't one, Whiffy," said Arrogant, examining the control panel frantically. "Why doesn't someone push that red button?" inquired Borrower, with a sickeningly calm voice. "Yes, why?" said Murky. "I don't know," wailed Pimply. "Well, I think we can understand perhaps the correct move to dispose of the Bullhog. Let's press the red button. Fordo pressed the red button. The bridge lifted rapidly, dropping the Bullhog and Grandalf unexpectedly into the chasm. "Hope you catch bubonic plague," cried the old wizard as he fell into the depths. "Alas," mourned one and all. "All the more fame for the rest of us," they consoled each other reflectively. Let's head south to exit the Marona Cave Complex. So Fordo was at the south exit of the Marona Cave Complex. A sign above the doors encouraged all to have a good day and come on back real soon. I'm not sure we will be returning here. Let's head on out south into the outside world. Fordo was at the foot of one of the Whiffy Mountains. The sun blazed down, a cooling breeze blew, and small furry animals molested smaller furry animals on the springy grass nearby. Path led east and west. Let's see what we've got to the west. Fordo stood on the east bank of a swiftly flowing black river. A path led east. At this point, Fordo noticed a rope. Let's get the rope. Okay. Head back east. And let's go east again. Fordo was in the enchanted realm of DeLorean, where time stood still and police never searched. The fertile soil supported a great forest to the south and east. The path led west. Elves appeared and gave Fordo his security ID. An apparition appeared and said, "You must do something here." Anyway, into the realm of DeLorean, so based both on, I think, Lothlorien from the original books and DeLorean the car, you may remember from the Back to the Future movies, also popular around the time of this game. Anyway, what should we do? What should we do at this location? Well, it's got fertile soil, and if I remember from from part one of the adventure, we were given some magic beans by Tim Bombadil. So let's plant the beans, see what happens. Fordo planted the magic beans. A sports car tree grew up. This action has increased your score. Good, eh? Let's look, and yeah, as you can see, we've now got a sports car tree. It's probably fairly pointless. Not much you can do with the sports car tree now we've got it, but gives us some use for those beans. Anyway, let's head on and go east. Fordo wandered awestruck among the trees on a leafy carpet of gold. Paths led south and west. Well, let's go south. Fordo stood at the foot of the palatial tree of chlorophyll and sellotape, king and queen of the great enchanted realm. Paths led north, south, and west into the trees. Let's go up. Fordo stood in the TV room of the palatial tree, set into the floor, and looking more than a little out of place, a jacuzzi foamed quietly. Deep carpet gave the final touch of luxury to the monstrously indulgent interior. An escalator led down. At this point, Fordo noticed King Sellotape and Queen Chlorophyll. "Come," said Chlorophyll, "gaze into the mirror." Well, let's take the opportunity to greet everyone. So, Chlorophyll, hello. "Hello, Hunky Boggit," said the beautiful queen. Chlorophyll went down. Well, we'll see where she's going in a minute. Let's first of all greet King Sellotape. Sellotape, hello. "Indeed," roared Sellotape. Anyway, let's follow Chlorophyll. See where she's going. Down. Okay, we've been at the foot of the tree before. Chlorophyll went south. Let's follow her south. Fordo was at fork in the elven path through the magical realm. The said path went east, west, and north. At this point, Chlorophyll's going west. Let's follow her to the west. Fordo stood in a sheltered clearing. In the centre stood an ornamental bird bath and fountain. A small stone figure on the side of the fountain urinated on a vulture floating upside down in the murky water. A path led east. "Come," said Chlorophyll, "gaze into the mirror." Well, let's take a look then. What's in the mirror? Fordo looked and saw an old and learned scribe, and he spake, saying, "Verily, it shall come to pass that penguins shall fly with the dragons, and they shall bear children, the Nilraks. I have seen thy future, ring carrier. Thou shalt go now into the river. Make haste. This is a recording." "Goodbye," said Chlorophyll. So this is perhaps a clue of what we need to do next. Find our way to the river. Interestingly, the monster reference here, the Nilraks, this was based, I believe, on a teacher that Ferguson McNeill and the rest of Delta 4 had at their school at the time, Mr. Carlin, his name backwards being the Nilrak. Let's see what happens if we examine the mirror again. So Fordo looked again, but only commercials could be seen. Anyway, I think that's all we can do here. So let's head towards the river. We're going east and east again. Fordo found himself on the bank of a small stream which flowed into the great river Anadin. So not Anduin, I think, from the original books, but Anadin. Some of you may know that's the name of a medicine used for headaches, tablet Anadin. To the west, the glory of the trees of Delorian radiated like sunlight, contrasting sharply with the dull, gloomy Wilberland far away to the south. At this point, Fordo noticed a small inflatable sea raft. Let's see if we can enter the raft. Fordo sat thoughtfully in the little inflatable raft floating gently down the Anadin River. The water lapped gently. Okay, let's wait now in the boat. Wait again. Fordo waited for a while. Time passed. A small grey figure paddled inconspicuously along behind them in an old inner tube. Well, I think if you remember the original books, this may be Gollum we can see here. Try and surreptitiously to follow us. So you're not making a very good job of hiding there. So let's carry on waiting. Fordo waited for a while. Time passed. Soon the boat put into shore. Fordo was at the campsite. A radioactive rock lit the small clearing with a warming, cheery glow. The river gurgled wetly along nearby. Looks like something's about to happen. Indeed, this rather nasty-looking creature here. Suddenly there was a tremendous noise and a C5 roared into view. It was driven by one of the evil Nazal. So the C5, for those of you that don't know, Sir Clive Sinclair, who invented, with his company Sinclair Research, invented the ZX Spectrum. Also, shortly after, decided to invent a small kind of battery-powered vehicle called the C5. Now, this wasn't really a success, and indeed cemented his reputation as a kind of mad inventor, inventing things that no one would possibly want to use. So here the evil Nazal is clearly one of the few people that has acquired a C5. Anyway, I don't think we want to stick around with the Nazal. Let's shoot him with the rifle we had earlier. Fordo fired and the C5 exploded into a cloud of sparks, its driver ejecting at the last moment and crashing into the coarse woodland on the other side of the river. "Hey, neato," squeaked a passing gnome, taking the gun and wandering away. Okay, well, that's got past the Nazal. Let's carry on back into the raft. Fordo was sailing down the wet and watery river Anadin in the little inflatable sea raft. Well, we'll just wait here and let the river take us on its course. Wait again. A small grey figure roared past inconspicuously in a speedboat this time, so even less inconspicuous than last time. Anyway, let's carry on waiting and see where we land when we land. Fordo waited for a while. Soon the boat put into shore. Fordo stood on the western shore of the river. A narrow path led away west into the trees. At this point, Fordo noticed a coin. Well, that may come in handy. Let's pick that coin up. Head west. Fordo was in a grassy clearing. To the south, the dark forest stretched away to the plains of Bedpan. A narrow path wound up the side of a nearby mountain, and another path led east. Well, let's carry on up. Frodo found himself in a flat grassy bay halfway up the mountain. Paths led from below up to the summit. Old J.R.R.T., that's J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of the original books, might mention the flat stone, the rowan trees, and the birdies wheeling about in the great gulf of air nearby. I am not going to. Okay, let's head on up. Reach the summit of the mountain. As you might see, there seems to be a telescope here. Frodo stood on the summit of Almanac, the high mountain at the end of the first book. A paid telescope had been set up on the rocky pinnacle for people to see the surrounding lands. A path wound down the slopes. A company appeared. Well, so I'm glad we've got the coin. This is a paid telescope. Let's insert the coin. Frodo inserted the coin and looked through the telescope. Far away beyond the mountains he spied a great marsh which he knew he must go through. Maze-like paths cross this hazard in the shape of ancient runes, symbolised by the name of that place. Now, this is given a clue to the shape of the maze in the marshes that we'll encounter in part 3 of the game. And for any of you that have drawn a map, the actual shape of the maze spells out the letters NHS, so those of you from the UK will recognise that as the abbreviation for National Health Service, so kind of a clue to part 3 of the game here. But anyway, let's carry on through part 2, back down the mountain, down again, back to the grassy clearing. This is the point which the company part ways with us. So, well, we're all going to Isengard, remarked Aragorn. You pootle off to Dormore. Bye. I'm coming with you, Mr. Frodo, sir, observed Spam. We'll head east at this point, back to the shore of the great wet river Anadin. A basilisk lumbered past. You may lose your rope in the mountains, it said. If you do, just say hog to magic it back. Well, I think we'll remember that for part 3. The basilisk turned a passing orc army to stone and ambled away into the undergrowth. Anyway, we're back at our raft, so let's board the raft one more time. Well done, we've completed part 2. Now on to the last part, for which the passwords are work for money, spend for love, love for money. With one space between each word, and don't miss out the commas. And there we go, so we've scored 100 points, and we've taken 88 turns, and that brings us to the end of part 2. So hopefully see you all again for part 3 of Lord of the Rings at some point soon.